Ahobale Garudasaila Madhye Kripavasat Kalpita Sannidhanam Lakshma Samalingitamamavagam Lakshmi Narsimham Sharanam Prapatye Sriman Venkatanatharya Kavitarkipikesari Vedanta Chadivaryo Me Sangyattam Sadahudi Keshavadi Prabhapatram Desamadi Gunatnavam Sri Sadari Desanam Desigendra Mahambaje Prabhadye Nirvadyanam Nishadyam Kudasampadam Sharanam Pravitanam Sharakopamuniswaram Sri Ranganatha Sharakopaitindrishtam Lakshmi Narasimha Karanaikavatram Sri Rangavira Raj Sharakopatim Vedanta Desigati Indra Maham Prabhatye Srimat Rangachadari Samavara Laptagamantatvayam Srimat Vira Rahutvatya Padar Vindashrayam Srimat Vedavadam Sade Desigade Karunya Vikshaspadam Seve Rangaturina Sasanasam Narayanam Yoginam Vedanta Desiketi Indrakadaksha Labda Trayanta Sara Manavatyam Kudambudagrayam Narayanadhyati Durya Kripa Vishiktam Sri Ranganatha Yadikramashrayamaha Srimate Sri Vancharagopa Sri Vedanta Desiketi Indra Mahadeshikaya Namaha Srimate Sri Lakshmi Narasimha Divyabhadika Sevaka Sri Vancharagopa Sri Narayana Yati Indra Mahadeshikaya Namaha Srimate Sri Vancharagopa Sri Ranganatha Indra Mahadeshikaya Namaha. Thank you all today for joining. Today we will be spending time on learning more about some of the episodes and the exemplary characters of Ramayana. I hope you will join in today's journey, given that just Ramanavami got over only last week. It is not too late to reflect upon this auspicious day and event. So first thing we all know is the greatness of Ramanama. So anybody can answer this question. I'm going to start with a small question. Do you know of any events that has reinforced Ramanama in recent years? In this picture, you are seeing Hanuman writing Ramanama on the rocks and stones, and Vanaras writing. This, of course, not exactly reflected in the Valmiki Ramayana, but is covered in Tulsi Ramayana. But nevertheless, do you know any episodes or any instance of the greatness of Ramanama? Anybody?
Recently?
Recently, in the sense, not recently, but later than Ramayana.
After Ramayanam. So like right now?
Maybe in the last 1,000 years.
Okay. Saying Ramanama சொல்றது Ramanama எழுதுறதுலாம் Hanumane varvar. Hanuman will come and see you.
Great. I really love that answer. Great answer. Okay. So one thing I just wanted to briefly say about what is being done here. I'll send you a video link sometime to the children for you to enjoy. How Tulsi Ramayana portrays this is to make the rocks float. Right? The Vanaras inscribed the name of Lord Rama to make that miraculously lift up, buoyant, and lift up in the water, so it will form a bridge. Right? But scientists agree that the submerged sandbars which are connecting India with Lanka have the rocks which are more recent than the sands. So that is what they have. So that means they must have been brought from some other place and placed there, put there. So the army, Vanara army, and the two different geographically distant place separated by sea. Right. The most important thing here is Lord in the Bhagavad Gita says, Yajnanam japa yajñosmi. There are many different yajnas. The silent, not chanting openly, but meditating softly within your heart, chanting. That has got the highest merit according to Lord Sri Krishna in the 10th chapter. So let us continue our discussion about Ramanama. I'll share with you 2 episodes here in today's session. The first place where Ramanama was used in the Ramayana itself is, or rather Rama's greatness and Ramanama, was the destruction of Meghanath, or also known as Indrajit. Do you know that Lakshmana was the hero who killed and destroyed Indrajit? I hope you can recollect that. But what did he do? That is what this explains. He says, Dharmatma Satyasandrascha Rama Dasarati Yadi Paurushecha Apratidvandva Statenam Jahi Ravanam. So he says on the right, if you see, if Rama is a Dharmatma, if Rama is a person who holds the truth, holds it, and he is second to none in prowess, let this arrow kill. Right? So this is where the greatness was first exposed of the greatness of Ramanama and Rama himself. If you can take Rama's name, and because of that power, why that was needed, I'll tell you. You know, there are many, many powerful mantras which can empower the arrows. He was using the weapon of Indra, and Indrajit already has defeated Indra. You know the story of Indrajit. Just Indra was tied along with his Airavat, and he was just carried to Lanka. Brahma was afraid. Indrajit, or Meghanath, was actually Meghanath, his initial name. He was carrying it all the way to Lanka after defeating Indra. Rama said, "Oh man, this is going to be very dangerous. Let us give a boon and rescue Indra." So Brahma gave a boon and rescued Indra, and Meghanath became Indrajit. And how come Indra's weapon can do anything to, he has already defeated Indra after Indra himself has used. But that was Ramanama and Rama's greatness that was enshrined in the tip of the arrow, and that really destroyed. So let's talk a little bit about what all kinds of astras do you all know. Let me ask that simple question before we go further. Any name of any astras that you all have heard?
Brahmastra.
Okay.
Nagapasam.
Okay, awesome.
Pashupasastra.
Why do we, absolutely. Why do you need all these weapons? Rama and Lakshmana, why do they need all these weapons first?
They're human beings, and they're Perumal and Adiseshan, but they're acting like human beings, so they have to use these kinds of weapons.
To use powerful weapons, even though as Raghav said, they are Perumal and Ilayalvar or Adishesha. You have to utilize the powerful weapons to destroy. But we will talk about it briefly in a second. There are some episodes you will see shortly. So Vishnu Sahasranam says, Anekarupa Daityantam Namami Purushottamam. To eliminate Daityas is an important element of the avatara here. So that is why weapons were needed. So can you tell me any time Brahmastra was used in Ramayana? Anybody knows or can guess?
When Indrajit used the Brahmastram on Lakshmana and Rama, and then he used
Okay,
the
he used-
Nagapastram and then the
Yeah,
Brahma.
no, yeah. Okay, he used, let's say. All right. Anybody else? Yeah, very good.
He used the Brahmastram while Kakasura was disturbing
Oh
Sita.
man, it's a beautiful one. All right. So there, it was not an arrow. It was a blade of grass, right? It was a small segment of the grass, the grass thrown at Kakasura. That is a beautiful episode. So that was, Kakasura was nobody else other than Jayanta, who was the son of Indra, right? So when he was trying to hurt Mother Sita, Rama did use the mantric elements of Brahmastra. So mantra can be used in many different ways. So that's what we will see. He also used it in the last encounter with Maricha. So also in the final, arrow on Ravana. So again, Rama used. There may be some other instances, but just to mention that. Now, so there are other weapons, right? That were Raudram, Vayavyam, Varnastram, all those kind of things are used. Now let's go to how did they acquire some of these weapons. So who gave Rama the divine bow? And Rama had the bow before, but there was an episode in the forest where a rishi gave Rama.
Was it Vishwamitra?
Vishwamitra, he did not give in the forest. I'm talking about after marriage.
Was it Agastya?
Agastya did give them weapons. Do we know what he gave? So he gave actually a bow called Brahmadatta. Okay. And he also gave the container for arrows. It's called the kuver or kuver, whatever it is. He gave that. He gave an armor. Okay. That armor was actually presented originally by Indra, and that was also given. A sword was also given. And Agastya told, at your behest, chariot will come from Indra. Okay. Also. But anyhow, just that is to keep in mind. Now I'm going to tell you a person, and now we will go to the next section. So here on the left side, we are talking about Tyagaraja. All of you must have heard the great Carnatic composer Tyagaraja. Tyaga Brahman he is called. Here, of course, I have mentioned it is 1 crore times he did the Naama Japa. And Lord Krishna, as Krishna says, it's a very powerful yajna. Once you are continuously chanting Ram himself, along with Lakshmana, Sita, everybody, and Hanuman presented himself before Saint Tyagaraja. And disappeared, of course, a little bit. He was overpowered with emotion. And he burst into a beautiful song, and so on and so forth. It goes. Some say he did 96 crore times to get Sakshatkaram of Rama. So there are many such great saints in the last 500,000 years, including Saint Ramadas and others. So just I want to mention that. So how do we know, do you know of any instance where it is not just Indian saints, but somebody else who has got a darshan of Lord Rama?
In Madurantakam, Colonel Lionel Blaze, the collector, got darshanam from Rama.
Amazing. How did you know even the name?
I just heard stories.
Amazing. You're telling even the name correctly. That's awesome. Which year was it? Okay. 1895 or something. All right. That's great. It's exactly right. Colonel Place. Everybody knows the story. Okay. You should go and visit Mathura and then see what is written on the slab in front of the Ayar Sanadi there, Sita Sanadi there, and then you can enjoy the show. All right. We are going to keep going. Going to, Lord Rama and Samudra Raja. This is an interesting episode. Here also Rama used the Brahmastra. I'll tell you what happened there. Okay. There's a very interesting one. Rama was very nice. He, spent 3 nights lying on the ground, and invoking as per the Shastras, the scriptures, inviting the Samudra-Rajan to come and guide and help as per the idea given by Vibhishana. But unfortunately, did Samudra-Raja appear? No. This is one time when Sharanagati was performed by Perumal to Samudra-Raja, since he was behaving like a man. He did that according to the scriptures. But Samudra-Raja was afraid of Ravana. He did not appear. So the person who has to give has to be capable enough to support the person who is surrendering. Otherwise, it will not work. So from a person who was trying to be nice to Samudra-Raja, took up the Brahmastra. And what happened? Samudra-Raja came and he explained the situation. He said, I will help you construct the bridge. And he suggested you appoint a particular monkey. We'll talk about who it was and what it was later. But what is very important for us to know is Rama said, guess what? I have taken that weapon and pointed at it. Now I have to release it. Where shall I put it? So Samudra said, yeah, don't target me. It's like a guided missile. You just determine the destination. It will land on that. So that is really what really happened. The Samudra-Rajan advised there is some place north of where you are aiming. So please aim it at that. There are some abiras and other, robbers and dacoits and other fearful elements living in that territory. Durmatulya, it is called, the place. We don't know which place exactly it is. People say it is in Rajasthan and all those things because it is called a desert area. So they think that is where Rama put the Brahmastra. Okay, so I just wanted to mention that. So let's continue here. So this shows actually how he is Perumal, because one time he is trying to surrender, other time Samudra is surrendering and supporting him. So that is the greatness of Perumal here. So and what happened is, you see the powerful Samudra swelling. Okay. What happened is, it came a yojana into the shore actually. And, because Rama took the Brahmastra, it was afraid, but Rama was not moving back or yielding any step back. So that was the greatness of Rama, and he saluted with his wife and others. Also, there are some other, mysterious powers that are shown by Lakshmana in the Ramayana episode, where we know that once he got hit by Ravana's weapon, Rama thought, okay, without his brother, Rama cannot live. So we will win the war. Let me hit him and take him away. He could not lift him at all. While Adisesha himself is actually supporting the entire universe. On his hood stands the entire universe. Right? Not exactly the Adisesha in the form that it is Adisesha's divine power. It is represented as him that supports the entire universe. So anyhow, but Hanuman came and lifted immediately like a feather. So these are all beautifully brought out by Kuratalva in our Hobalamat Sampradaya Parampara. He is the father of Parashara Bhatta, and it's a very important sloka or a stotram. Sundarabahu, Stavam, Atimanusha, Stavam, a lot of things are there in our Sampradaya, beautiful works. Now, Rama is also a Satya Sankalpa. How do we know? So he says, Rajanam Tvam Karishyami Satyameta Shunotme. To Vibhishana, basically telling, I will perform your, he literally performs and vows that you will be the Raja of Lanka. He has not even built the bridge. He has not even defeated or know even the strength of Ravana's army. So these are all some of the things that we need to know about the glory. But here I have a question for you all on Vibhishana. Anybody knows who are some of the other? Okay, let's start in an easy way. Who is the father of Vibhishana? Anybody? Okay, it is a buzzer round. So Vishravas, right? Vishravas is the father of Vibhishana. Is Vishravas the father of Ravana also? Yes. Yes. Ravana, Vibhishana, Kumbhakarna, Shurpanaka, all born via the same mother. She is called Kaikashi. There may be so many variations in pronunciation and spelling, but she was the demoness who was married to the sage Vishravas. Then he had a half brother. Anybody knows the half brother of Ravana, who I did not mention so far?
uh,
Kubera. Okay. I don't know, they call it many different ways. So I'll tell you what happened. Sage Bharatwaja, right? He gave his daughter Ilavida to the saint, Vishravas, and he is the wealth manager of the universe. You can think like that. So, and the original ruler of Lanka, and also the proud original owner of Pushpaka Vimana. All right. All those things were stolen from Kubera by who? The
Ravana.
one and only Ravana. All right. Okay. So let's keep going. Let me just check the time here a little bit. Okay. We'll go a little faster, but okay. All right. This is a very important place. I just wanted to mention that quickly in our story, right? So how this all started, okay? So how Ramayana got started? Ramayana got started by Narada doing the Upadeshan to Valmiki. Anybody knows what is the name of Valmiki when he was born? Okay. All the questions I'm asking are going to be very tough. Google will not help also, okay, very easily. All right, Ratnakara. Okay. Ratnakara is the name. I don't want to. So what happened here? This is a beautiful opening. Tapaswadhyaya niradam tapasvi vadvidamvaram naradam paripapracha valmikir munipungavam konvasmin sampradam loke gunavan kascha vidyavan dharmagnyascha kritagnyascha satyavakyo dridavratah charitrena chako yukta sarvabhuteshu kohitah vidwan kahka samartascha कश्चैक प्रियदर्शनः आत्मवान् को जिदक्रोधो युतिमान् को न सूयकः कस्य बिभ्वति देवाश्च चातरोषस्य संयुगे. Beautiful lines of Valmiki. Anybody knows how many stanzas are there in Valmiki Ramayana?
24,000.
Oh, that's really nice. Thank you for telling that. And what is the most common meter used in Valmiki Ramayana? The meter is the rhythm.
Is it the Anushtup Chandas?
Yeah, wow. Who is answering this?
Yan per Aparajitan.
Rajitan, awesome. I think we have to make these kind of questions a little tougher. Okay. So, it's great that you all know this at such young age. All right. So let's talk about some of the qualities of Rama. I want you, this is where we're going to take a minute more because this is the essence of today's session. So there are so many beautiful things that are said in the Valmiki Ramayana about Rama. Okay. Even though we are not going to cover everything in detail. On the right, I have put two things. One is Dharma and another is Satya. Okay. Truthfulness. One is Dharma. What is Dharma? Ordinary way, if anybody can say.
It's your duty.
it's
Sorry?
your
One
duty.
at a time, one at a time. Okay, duty. Okay, anybody else?
Dharma is like righteousness.
Fantastic. Anybody else? Any other answers? So let me tell you something. Dharma is what the world and the universe and everything is based out of. Okay? So it's not just your duty. Why is it called your duty? Is because you have to uphold the Dharma. And Dharma upholds everything. So this is very, very important for all of us to know. It said, Dharmajnascha Satya Sandhyascha Prajanamcha Hiterataha. You have to have compassion to people, to the subjects. But as a king, you need to know the dharma that needs to be followed by the people, by the Raja himself, and all the divinities too, devas too. And that is the basis. That is the divine will, okay, of the Lord that supports the entire cosmos. So that is dharma. And when you're doing your duty to please the Lord in line with his sankalpam, that we children do certain things in line with his expectation, that is why it is also known as our dharma, swadharma. Okay, so keep that in mind. But what is the basis of that? Truth is the basis of that. And our acharyas say, not just this, there is one more beautiful quality that they celebrate and enjoy quite a bit. Anybody can guess, which is not listed here, which you might have heard many, many times? So I'll tell you what it is. You know, this is a great quality, right, called Sausilium. That is what our acharyas celebrate. You know, they celebrate the Vibhava Avtaram of Rama and his accessibility, and also as Acha, his accessibility. So that is actually considered and celebrated by our acharyas more than anything. Now, such a great person needs to have a companion to support and perform the duty. Not just the duty, also execute in line with the wishes. Oh, you know, I know what is your duty. I will do it in my own way. No. Together. It's a companion. So this is where we are going to go into a little bit of quiz. Okay. Who took Rama to Mithila?
Vishwamitra.
Vishwamitra.
Okay. I'm starting easy. Who was the priest from Janaka's side who performed the or arranged the marriage details between Sita and Rama? Who is Janaka's priest? Who is Dasaratha's priest first? Kula
Is
Guru.
it
Vasishta.
Vasishta is the Kula Guru. Same way for Janaka, who is the Kula Guru? Shatananda. Okay. All right. So let me ask a question here. Rama married Sita. Lakshmana married
Urmila.
Urmila?
You need to have this on top. Okay. All right. So I see some very nice names here. So I'm good. Who did? Okay. Urmila was born to Which queen? Sita was not born to any human being, so I can't ask that question. So, who was Urmila born to? Who is the mother of Urmila? Sorry, yeah, who is the wife of Janaka and mother of Urmila? Nobody? Sunayana or Sunaina? There are multiple.
Is it Shunayana?
Yeah, Sunayana. Right. Probably you guys are looking up also, but it's okay. Questions are tough. It's crossing. All right. So I'm going to buzzer around now. Very quick. We have to keep going. There are more slides to do. Quick thing. What is the name of Sita and Rama's children?
Lavankusha.
Lavankusha.
That's right, Lavankusha. What is the name of Lakshmana and Urmila's sons? They had two sons named Angada and Chandraketu. All right. You need to read the original. Why I'm doing all these things? You guys need to read the original Valmiki Ramayana slowly, whatever time you get. All these things are accessible. Slowly you can do whatever section you want at your own pace. That is the only way. Or at least, the nice translation like Rajaji's, Rajagopalan as Swami's, good Chakravarti Rajagopal Swami's, Ramayana, both in English and Tamil are available. Okay, so let's keep going. All right. So now there are some famous things. I'm going to go a little bit fast here, right? So Sita was not just, ordinary person. She is Mahalakshmi herself. But there is a small catch. Okay, we'll see that Sita, we saw here. We see here we saw that Sita was a match, suitable match, and Mahalakshmi took, and Janaka himself did some very nice statement. Iyam Sita Mamasuta Sahadharma Charini Tava. That is the first line here, basically telling she is going to, assist you in completion of the Dharma by being with you and performing it together. All right. So now we are going to go to Mother Sita's greatness. A little bit we will see. So I'm going to delve a little more into this. I'm not going to go into the verse right now, but let us see who is the charioteer who is driving this. Anybody can guess?
I kind of forget the name, but it's like the hunter, the chief hunter.
That is Guha, but Guha was doing the boat. This was before they reached the Ganga. I really like, Jahnavi, your answer. That's great.
Is it Sumanto?
Sumantra. Sumantra is the person. Let me ask a question. Sumantra was actually a minister. He was not a charioteer. He was also skilled. Dasharatha had, just like Ashtadiggajas, he had some 8 great ministers. Sumantra was just one of them. There are 7 other ministers, okay, great ministers. We don't get to hear enough about them. Dasharatha ruled for like 60,000 years. Of course, in those times, people went to Devaloka and came back and all those things. That added too many years to your survival too, because one day in Devaloka is 1 year,
1 year.
Here in
Earth.
Earth. Right. So Anyhow, that is Sumantra, one of his ministers. That is who is driving it. Let's keep going. All right. So this one, we need to take a little bit time. I'm going to ask you something before we go to the next page. Now we say Mother Sita. What do we hear in the story of Ramayana? Ravana took Sita to Lanka. How can the divine universal mother be taken away? So, itihasas are to be learned from acharyas. There are rahasyas in each of them. Today we are going to see one rahasya in the whole thing. I'm sharing what is public, so it is okay. I'm giving even evidence of that, what it is. So it's okay. Public knowledge, I'm sharing, not rahasya. So you're not supposed to share if it is not public. So anyhow, continue the story. So Divine Mother can never be taken. Divine will, she will not even allow that and entertain. So that is what, and to reinforce that concept, who knows who is who better than Lord Brahma at the end of the war? Brahma, Shiva, everybody comes in front of Rama, and Brahma says, Rama, you are Vishnu. Here, this particular snippet, Sita, Lakshmi, Bhavan. So she is none other than Mahalakshmi, the Divine Mother. That is what Brahma says. He says many other things, but we are not going to worry about that. But on the right side, we are going to tell very important verse, even appearing in the Balakanta, first sarga, which is called Samkshepa Ramayana. Janakasya kule jata deva mayeva nirmita sarva lakshana sampanna narinam uttamam vadu. We don't need other slokas, just first line alone we will focus on. Janakasya kule jata, who was born in Janaka's lineage. Deva mayeva nirmita. So already as part of that, the Devas had a scheme, a trickery to take revenge on Ravana already. So there is some arrangement alongside with Sita. What is the arrangement? The arrangement is very simple. It is there. So it is Maya Sita or some Tirupati, Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam calls it Vedavati. Some other Kurma Puran says Maya Sita. Doesn't matter. Whatever it is, Sita Devi is taken away by the Agni that is kept in the hut of Rama, securely to Devaloka. And what really is happening is a image of Sita is what is present. Who it is, Vedavati or whatever it is irrelevant. That is the person who is taken away. So what happens? Sita disappears into the Agni, kept in the kutil of Rama, Lakshmana, and Sita, and the Maya Sita appears when Rama is gone. And Maya Sita says, Lakshmana somehow has to go away. So she forces Lakshmana with very unpleasant words to force her to go. force him to go. Lakshmana leaves. Some people say she crossed Lakshman Rekha. Those are other variations. But anyhow, now how can she reappear if she is the one Rama wins? What will happen? There will be a problem. Rama will be living after that with Maya Sita. How will Maya Sita come back? So that is where the most interesting thing happens. So Maya Sita disappears in the Agni Pariksha. So that is why Rama does not accept the Maya Sita. No, this is not the Sita. I want my Sita back. Go and do. So Lakshmana is like, Lakshmana also knows, but he acts as if he doesn't know, but he just follows their orders, puts Sita to Agni Pariksha. There are other things too. They're solving multiple problems. What will people think? Is Sita pious and all those things? That also is taken care by going through this purity exercise. And when Sita emerges back out of the Agni, which was taken by Agni, what happens? Essentially, all Brahma, everybody, they come. They say, accept your Sita, she is Lakshmi and everything, or Vishnu and everything. Now, that is the real Sita they are trying to say. So, that is the reappearance of Sita in this. So, you can go to this site, tirumala.org and srk12.aspx. You will see actually what it says there. This is all taken from there, and so on and so forth. There is some slight variation in the Venkatachala Mahatmyam of Skanda Purana. So this is all open story, but it's an important rahasya, because why it is saying Janakasya Kule Jata Deva Mayeva Nirmita. It's a secret. Deva's secret. They want to trap. They want to kill him. But they cannot say, go and do this for Mother, Divine Mother herself. So that happens. All right. Roughly how many years did Rama live on Rama's incarnation? How long was it?
14.
They say 11,000 years.
Oh.
In the part of the Balagatam, and Uttarakandam also somewhat puts similar number, 11,000 plus something, right? Years. 14 years is the thing in exile. Okay, so I'm talking not about that. All right, let's keep going. I think I need to go a little faster here. Let's see. We have only a few minutes. Always, Lakshmana is the most beautiful brother of Rama, and Sumitra is one of the amazing mothers of Rama. Sumitra knew the divinity of Lord Rama and even orders Lakshmana that you need to treat Rama and Sita as mother and father. There's no other business for you. Of course, who was asked to go to the forest? Only Rama. But Lakshmana also went. Lakshmana, there are other stories. Lakshmana did not even sleep, and it's called Urmila Nidra. Nidra Devi came, and Lakshmana said, it is a personification of sleep. So he commanded, give this through his yogic power. He transferred it to Urmila, and Urmila took up this great tapasya. We are not going to look at that to detail. There are many beautiful things in this. I'm not going to be able to cover all those things today. Let's keep moving. Okay, Divine Paduka, we know the greatness of Paduka. So we are going to try to see if we can. So let's see how we can cover this. Who is considered to be the incarnation of Paduka in Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya? What is this?
Marvar.
Yeah, you guys need to answer this question. Otherwise, it will be very disappointing. All of you know that? Or at the end of Utsavam happens, a lot of thing is going on. And definitely, this is something you all need to know. All right, but anyhow, so let me just say something here, right? Let's see. Paduka is Nammalvar. Who is Natha? Which incarnation? These are all already covered, most likely, if you're attending classes. Natha Manihan is Gajanana's avatar. Uyakandar is Kumudan's incarnation. Yamanacharya is Haribhakta. Right? Okay. So Gajanana is known through a shloka which is chanted along with Vishnu Sahasranam. So that shloka is Yasyad Virada Vaktratya Parishatyaha Parashatam Vignam Nignanti Saratam Vishwaksenam Tamasri. Then it says there is an elephant-faced Nityasuri, and hundreds of other such Nityasuris who always help their master Vishwaksena remove the obstacle. So he's the commander-in-chief of that. We take resort to Vishwaksena is that prayer. You all know right after Shuklam that is told. All right. I don't know whether M.S. Subbalakshmi ji says that, but there are other such Nityasuris, not only elephant-faced, right? So there is horse-faced, Jayat Sena. There is Haribhaktra, elephant-faced, lion-faced. Then there is, Kala Prakriti. It is even more dangerous, like a Yali kind of thing. So on and so forth. Many Nityasuris with fearful things to destroy evil forces are there and restore the Dharma in the cosmos. Because there are multiple universes. So we need a large army of this kind of contingent to help in all universes. All right. We are not going to spend any more time on this. We all salute the divine Paduka. With that, we go to so here there is, I think one thing very important for us. Rama tried, so Bharata did Sharanagati to Rama. So what happened? Why was his Sharanagati not fulfilled? Anybody can. So what was Bharata's Sharanagati? To request Rama to come to the forest, come to the kingdom back and rule it. What happened instead? Rama denied that. So how can we explain? Actually, it was not denied, it was delayed. Right? So that is the most important thing. Sometimes it can happen like that, if there is a conflict of interest. So Bhagavan's Icha, it's not our wish when and how and everything needs to happen. Bhagavan decided that there are other things he needs to fulfill before he can undertake this. So let us see at least one thing. Paduke chasya rajyaya nyasam datva punah punaha. Nivartayamasa tato Bharatam Bharatagrajah Sakamam Anavapyaiva Rama Pada Upasprishan. So that is what is being said here. So these are beautiful things. And he takes the sandals to rule by proxy of this Paduka and Nandigrame Karudrajyam Rama Gamana Kamchaya Kadetu Bharate Shriman Satya Santu Jitendriya is 1139 I'm talking about. Beautiful verses of Valmiki. We will need to proceed to other sections. So here I want to take a minute again to talk about this beautiful episode here. Now, we have seen Bharata, what we learned from Bharata, symbol of humility, nobility, and justice. That we want to remind ourselves, okay, before we continue the story. I'm going to only briefly cover these slides. We will cover some other time, a few other slides, but at least I'll try to ask some quiz questions maybe here and there. So, Jatayu is an example of service and sacrifice. What happened in Jatayu's case? So, Jatayu fought for Mother Sita and was killed by, and who performed the last rites of Jatayu, is Jatayu is considered Arva, considered Vaishnava Sampradayam, by none other than Rama. Rama did not get an opportunity to do even for his own father in person, but he did for Jatayu. Only the first line we are going to talk about, actually third line here, Maya actually Gacha Lokan Anuttamam. That is the most important thing on the right side sloka. He sends Jatayu to the highest loka. How he does? Because he is a keeper of Dharma and Satya. Any person, not just Rama, they could do is how beautifully our Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya says. There's an episode in the life of our Acharyas which discuss this. All right. Shabari. I want to take a few seconds here. I know we are almost out of time, but I know I need to cover this. Shabari, I know there are many beautiful things to be said. You all hear Shabari Moksha. You have to take a second to reflect on it. Every single day for probably 12 years or so, Shabari thought Rama is going to come. What happened is Shabari's Acharya, Shri Matanga, Shabari is a tribal woman. She only knows service, but she had such amazing attitude for service, Kainkari. She was preparing every single day, anticipating Rama, because there is no other way for communicating and anticipating and knowing. So every single day, you're preparing for guests. Prepare, you can't do some elaborate feast or something. Prepare, keep the place clean. Start your day in the morning, anticipating the great brothers to come your way. Kabanda, of course, coins. Somebody is waiting for you, go, and so on. So it's a great, tapasya of Shabari. In fact, it says Dharma Nipunam is the word that is used in the Ramayana by Valmiki. It is really amazing that that word can be used for Shabari of all the great characters in Ramayana, and it is really so. And she says, I'm going to go. It is my good fortune that I saw you all. That was her only tapasya, and it's a great episode, right, in the Ramayana. All right, nobody needs to tell anything more than Hanuman. Hanuman is one of the most awesome characters in the entire Ramayana. And there are many beautiful things to say about. Hopefully, we'll catch up another time. But only one thing I just wanted to ask. Hanuman was not all alone in the story. There are other Vanaras, great Vanaras that were there. And Hanuman's divine father was who? Anybody?
Vayu.
Correct. Who was the Vanara son of Indra?
Uh, um,
Vali.
was it Bali?
Okay, buzzer round. We are out of time. We are going to do quickly. Who was the Vanara son of Surya?
Sugriva.
Sugriva.
Perfect. I'm going to make it tougher now. The Samudra Raja suggested a name. Who can lead the creation of the bridge? Who was that?
Nala.
Nala. Nala.
Why? Nala
Because
was the
Nala was like the divine architect for the Vedas. He was like the incarnation.
Jahnavi, you're awesome. So it is Vishwakarma's son. That is what I hope you meant. That's great. Okay, I'm going to skip something. I'm going to ask one trick question too. Okay, so let's see. Who was the medical officer of the Vanara army? Just I'm making it.
Was it like something?
Sushena. He was the Vanara son of Varuna Bhagavan. Right, God. Okay. I'm going to ask a real tough question. Vanara son of Brihaspati. And the Vanara name is Tara. Not the wife of Vali, but Tara was a great minister. His same name. I think they ran out of names here and there. Okay. So that is another name. So on and so forth. There are so many things, right? In the war, some beautiful Vanaras fight, Mainda and Dvivida and so on. You should read the Valmiki Ramayana. And which is the largest kanda in the Valmiki Ramayana? Yuddha Kanda.
Yeah.
All right. So we are going to keep moving. We have a lot of questions. I'm not going to go into the surrender topic. With this, we are going to end almost, things here. Let's pass the time. So, Kujantam Rama Rameti, Madram Madraksharam, Arokya Kavita Shakam, Vande Valmiki Kokilam, Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vidase, Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pate Namaha. So, just like Rama's bridge transported many monkeys and bears over the waters, let the Ramanama, which is only available for us, that be in our heart to carry us across the sea called Samsara. Okay, Samsara Sagaram. What Rama did, kill all the Karadushana, Kumbhakarna, just like that. Let his divine weapons destroy the mischievous and demonic thoughts and qualities in us. And enshrining him in our heart, let Rama confer, just like he conferred moksha to Jatayu and Shabri and others, for us also ordinary people who are in the Sri Vaishnava Kulam. Chaturmukeshwara Mukaihi Putra Pautra Dishaline Namasita Sametaye Ramaya Grhamedini. Thank you all for joining today. Nama, I can stop any. Nama?
Sure. என்ன கொஸ்டின் கேட்கணுமா?
இல்ல கொஸ்டின் இல்ல, எல்லாம் முடிச்சாச்சு.
Yeah. No. தனியனோட we'll finish. Okay, that's fine. Good, thanks.
Thanks. மாமா, எந்த தனியன் நம்ம இப்போ இது பண்ணோம்?
அதே ரங்கநாதர்
வேதாந்த தேசிகே தீந்திர தேசிகாய மகா தேசிகே தீந்திர கடாட்சலப்தட்ட ஐந்த சார மனோத்யம் குடும்பதாக்ரயம் நாராயணாத்ய துர கிருபாபிஷித்தம் ஸ்ரீரங்கநாத சேகர அஸ்வயாமஹ.